Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'd like to introduce you to the winner of YGOverdose's third Dueling Network tournament, Yuki Zaninovich. Yuki won the tournament with wind-ups, and today we're going to talk about his deck choices and his general tournament experience. Yuki, why don't you say hello to everybody?
Hey, you do.
So let's start off with, let's talk about your deck. You ran wind-ups. Everyone, I'm putting a picture of the deck on the screen right now so they can all see it. Why don't you talk about your deck and some of your card choices and why you made them?
So to be quite frank, I pretty much threw this deck together in about 20 minutes, and that's because like it was Saturday, it was like midnight on Saturday, and I had a bunch of stuff to do the next day. So I was like, I even debated whether to end up this tournament or not. But I was like, I decided, well, might as well, because I mean, I won the first tournament, right? So I had a bunch of like credit for the tournament, if you will. So I was like, well, might as well just waste like 1/20th of it. So I just entered, and I was debating a lot of deck choices to use. Like first, I said Dino Rabbit because like Macrocosmos beats every deck right now. But then I was like, well, if I don't open Macro Rabbit, then it's a really uphill battle. And then I thought Mermail, but I was like, I'm bored of that deck. And then
Yuki, can I get you to put your head up a little more in the frame?
Sorry.
That's good.
Okay.
Go on.
All right, so I ended up deciding on windups, and with a little help from Chris, I decided to smoke screen. And I was really iffy about the idea at first because I've never liked smoke screening just because like in a psychological perspective, not no, it's a social perspective, but like regionals, if one person just spreads out all like the beans on what your deck is and like if it like smoke screens or not, like it's not a difference of, oh, does this guy play Gores or not. It's literally like telling you how the entire deck works. So you really get screwed over if like somebody just spreads out like what deck you're playing, and that actually happened to me before. So I've always had like a phobia for smoke screening. But I decided against it. And I ran it anyways. It actually did happen in the tournament, but I mean it's whatever. So yeah, should I just go into the individual cards?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so
The offbeat choices, not the...
so for the monster lineup, I guess I decided against playing Gores or Valor, Maxi, or anything like that, just because since I'm smoke screening, I want to play the most general build I can, because if I play Valor and I'm playing against like, I don't know, like Atlantean or something, it would really suck to have a Valor in the main deck and like have to side it out. And that's less things you have to, because the way that my deck works, it's hard to side effectively because you have a 15 card limit, and I mean you automatically have to side out 3 magicians, 3 rats, 3 sharks, 3 factories. So if I have to side out Valors and Maxis, then I have to keep like 3 rabbits in them. That would be really inconsistent. So
To be clear, how many rabbits did you keep in the main deck after you sided?
it depended on my mood / matchup, but I usually always took out 1, maybe 2.
Okay.
I always kept 1 just because if I open Tanky Torrential, I don't really want to go Tanky into Bear and then have like a Torrential as a backup. Torrential and Rada is way more effective than that, so
Okay.
I always want for the extra option. Like I wouldn't choose to main 1 random wind-up Rabbit if I play Fire Fist from the get-go, but since I'm playing like this anyways, I just thought might as well.
So to be clear, you sided out, what, like a Mind Control or a Pot of Avarice?
If it was like the mirror match for like Rabbit, I mean the Fire Fist mirror match, then I would keep in the Mind Control. But other than that, like if it's like Atlantean or something, I would probably side out the Mind Control. I definitely side out Pot of Avarice, and then I don't know, some other card. Let's see, wait, 9 plus 12, Pot of Avarice, Mind Control. Oh yeah, okay. So depending on if I side out Mind Control or not, I would side out 1 or 2 rabbits respectively. So yeah, that's how I sided.
Okay. So let me ask 2 things. One, can I get your head a little more up? Perfect. Okay. The second thing is, There were some like, all right. So I know in your in the tournament, Giovanni posted in the Facebook group after round two, I think, or something,
Yeah,
saying,
round two.
"Yeah, this is okay. This is what Yuki's running," and I know that affected whether or not you would side in future matches right away or maybe game three or something. I want to know when specifically, if you had a certain, if you said, okay, yeah, I'm going first, I'm going to keep windups, I'm going second, I'm going to side into Fire Fist, or if it was every game two you said you're going to side into Fire Fist, when exactly did that come in, or was it just a judgment call at the time?
Um, so it was basically a game of wit then because I think he specifically told my round three opponent what I was playing. So like I knew for a fact 100% that he knew I was siding in. So I just convinced him that I didn't know what was going on Facebook, and then I just kept my windups in, and then he sided in Fire Fist, like anti Fire Fist cards, and then I won 2-0, right?
What kind of Fire Fist cards?
Say that again?
What kind
I
of
don't
Fire Fist cards?
honestly.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, and then after that, I honestly couldn't. I can't remember. I don't know. No, I can't remember. I couldn't judge if the guy knew that had a Facebook that they saw the Facebook post or not, because it wasn't the status, so it wasn't as obvious, but it was still a comment that was in the event page. So I guess it was a judgment call. From that point, if I was going first, I usually slide into windups just because like Magician Shark is like 80% of the time game if I go first. Um, like for example, once I got to top four though, things changed. That was the point where everybody knew what I was playing, so I really had to like make like clutch judgment calls.
Did it ever backfire?
Um, I don't think so. I think the only like backfire, as you may say, is that they cited in neutral cards because they kind of read the fact that I would try to like trick them into like thinking I would side in or side out. So they cited in neutral cards such as like Thunder King Ryo, which would basically hit both decks in a respective manner. But other than that, I think like in the third game of the feature match, um, Elijah thought that
Oh yeah.
I would slide into Fire Fist because I was going second, but I knew that he would think that, so I just kept in windups all three games, which was really risky to be honest, but it like worked out in the end because he sided in level limit area B, which is really mediocre in the windup mirror match. So it was actually a top deck card for him too, so it definitely worsened his situation. So um, that was definitely a good.
So did it ever happen that someone anticipated the fact that you would keep in windups and sided in Max C's or anything like? Did you ever see Max C's game 2 and 3 or rivalries game 2 and 3 where it hurt you?
I talked to my top four opponent after the round. I think he even posted on the event page, but he said that I was going I was going first, and he knew I was going to slide back into windups, so he sided Maxis and Baylors, but apparently he didn't draw them, and I did Magician Shark, and I just won. So, there definitely were times that they anticipated. I mean, if you really think about it, like they can literally flip a coin, and they have a 50% chance that they would be siding for the right one. So I mean, it definitely happened. But I think I worked my experience to the maximum that I could prevent such situations.
Okay. Well, let me ask you two really important questions. The first is how much did you like your transitional side overall? And the second question is, would you do it again if you had the opportunity? But somewhere in there is a third question also. What would you change if you were to do it again?
Can we go one question at a time?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. The first one is, how much did you like it?
So other than the fact that I was like put on blast about what I was playing, and essentially all the participants knew what I was doing. I really liked it. The first 2 rounds, I definitely caught everybody off guard. Like I saw like somebody flip a Goslin when I had like a wind up rabbit and like a bear or something, and I just couldn't help but laugh like at my computer screen. I mean, like it's just so funny how easy it works. So I mean, I just moved rabbit and then I just like took control with bear from there. But I mean, the amount of deck cards you can generate with the strategy is just so great. Um, like the only reason I wouldn't do this again is if so I thought this was the right meta to do a smokescreen side, because the format where smokescreens are good is if there is a central deck or a side deck card that can hit any two of the mainstream decks. So in this example, it would be Skill Drain for this deck, because Skill Drain would destroy both decks, and you really wouldn't have out to that other than MST or a Heavy Storm. So that was one factor that I would not have wanted to do that, but Skill Drain's not a popular deck right now. Like maybe people cite it in Atlanteans, but that's not that big of a deal. So yeah. As long as there aren't cards like that that could destroy like 2 decks at once without like you being able to come back from it, then I think it's an appropriate format to smoke screen.
Okay. Did you feel like, I mean, an extension of this question is, did you feel like it worked better for you than a regular side deck would have worked? Or on par? Or worse?
Definitely think it was better, because other than the Mermail matchup, I think most decks typically take out really like Mermails. I haven't like analyzed how they side exactly yet, even though I've done it myself. I still think it's sort of a coin flip whether you side in or side out, because I just think that's how the deck works. But stuff like against like Fire Fist or I guess windups too, the way they side can really make their deck ineffective, like take out synergy from their deck, and it would produce dead cards. So I think the side decking was really good. I've never had a time where I had to side in like maybe I wanted a defissure or two, because I just for Atlanteans, but other than that, I think I really liked it.
Okay. So I remember when we were talking about the deck the night before the tournament, and we were bouncing off some ideas, some card choices and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember at one point I said something like duality or something. I don't remember how exactly context came up or whatever, but I didn't realize until the tournament was already over that you didn't main deck the duality. And I felt like looking back at it, I was like, man, you know, that's a slot that could have worked out in both decks. And then there were a couple other things like, I mean, I think you only use the one set of normal monsters, right?
Right.
Okay. And so, I mean, I think you suggested, I mean, what do you think about like 2 Vorse Raiders? And I shot that down at the time, but then like I thought about it and I kind of liked it. But I mean, there were just some things like, okay, maybe this isn't the best way. Maybe this wasn't the optimal way to side deck into Fire Fist. And my touching on the second question was, you know, what if you could do it over again? If you're put back and you know that you're going to do well with it, but you have a second try at making it a better or something, would you change anything about the side deck?
So space is definitely an issue, which was the biggest factor into me not playing more normal monsters. But like after I talked to Chris, the extra set of normals could have made a bigger impact, just because I played 2 tour rides in the Sangan. So it would just really be a waste if I opened Rabbit Tour Guide, which is really broken in any Rabbit deck except for this one. And I open that, and I have to like go Zen main for something. I mean, I could obviously be playing a mirror match or against like Dino Rabbit, and they could go Rabbit, and I could have a tour guide in my hand, and then I draw like 2 werewolves, and I'm like, well, I can't Levier anymore. That would really suck. So I guess that is one con of running only 3 normals, but I guess preference-wise, I just don't like normals, period. Um, Especially in Fire Fist, I'd much rather invest into bears and gorillas, and I never felt the necessity of having both my rabbits live. But since I am maining Tour Guide, I might want to main Horse Raider. So in that case, I might have taken out like 2 pod dualities and like 1 10-cent. Because you only need 10 cent for that one search with Tiger King, right? So, because nothing else in the deck can really search 10 cent. So, if I weren't Smokescreen, I still haven't made up my mind on it. But since I can't really take out the tour rides to use them to the biggest extent, I probably would have played more Control Monsters. But I'm still back and forth on that. As for the pod duality, maybe I could have taken out 1 Tanky and put that into the side deck, and then put a pod duality over that.
Tanky?
Yeah, well, let me put the Tanky into the side deck instead.
Oh, you're saying instead of main decking 2?
Yeah, main deck 1 and then main deck 1 pod duality.
Got you.
Like as I said earlier, like space is really tight, so that was the biggest issue with this deck. So yeah. Oh yeah, Starlight. It's just some random card I just like pop up on the screen. But Starlight Road, I probably would have taken that card out if I could do this again. I never resolved it once. It always got popped by Gorilla or just like it was just there dead. I thought it was just a great card going into Fire Fist because you can set all your back rows without fear. But other than that, like psychological like relaxation, I guess, like I never resolved Starlight Road one. Maybe it's just because like the stars didn't align for me. But if they heavy stormed or Dark Hold, I never had Starlight Road. And then when they didn't have it, I had it, and it was just bad.
Gotcha. It also took up space in your extra deck, which is...
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, well, when we talk about extra deck stuff, that will be one thing I will talk about.
Let's talk about extra deck stuff.
Okay, so, extra deck was definitely tight, very tight. Like, when I was playing my my first game in one of my matches, I don't remember which one, somebody was like, you played Diamond Direwolf in windups. And I just thought, like, wow, that's a really good point. Like, I mean, obviously I have played Diamond Direwolf because I'm playing Fire Fist, and like they go into that quite often. So I just thought it was a great point that like I have to play like obscure, like Exceed monsters depending on which deck type I'm going into. So Stardust definitely restricted my options when it comes to having more extra deck choices, but yeah, I probably wouldn't play Starlight Road just for that.
Okay.
Yeah. As for everything else, yeah, I lost my I guess luxury of being able to choose my rank 5s. If there was a threat on the board that I couldn't take care of with Pierce, like it was just like I've never had a time where I missed Adrius, but like in a hypothetical situation where I would have to go Adrius to kill like maybe like a Hyperion or something, I just couldn't do that, and I guess that would really suck in specific situations. I also had to cut Giga Brilliant, which I don't think I really missed that much, but that's also like you can't make Giga Brilliant curious, which is actually a strong play. So yeah, I can't think of. Wait, do you notice any other cards that would be in a typical extra deck for lineups?
Give me 1 second.
I also couldn't play double Zen Mines because I mean you go Zen Mines really often with this deck, but I couldn't play multiples of it, so
I don't think most people would have had the opportunity to, or would take the opportunity to play double Zen mains, just because there's just so many cards that you could use, and to not use them. I mean, I'm looking at this. I'm saying something that I might have taken out, not necessarily putting in, but like I'm looking at, for example, Acid Golem, and I'm like, man, I would have preferred Nadris over that. I'm trying to think of.
If you're staring down a field of I mean I think Hyperion's like the only thing I can think of right now, but like I don't think if I use my Zen mains already, Acid Golem was like my only out for that card, as well as like any other like 2,500 and above cards. Acid Golem would be my only out. So.
And then all right, I'm not set. Like, I mean, we can. I don't want to say, hey, let's debate Acid Golem, but I'll just say,
Right,
okay,
right,
so what do you do 2 turns later?
right. Yeah. Good point.
I mean, that's been my only thing. My only like when I look at that, like it'd be one thing if there were no other cards that I could use, but the fact that like I'm giving up an Adrius to run that, no, I'm alright. I'd rather use the Adrius. That's me personally. I'm not.
That's true. That's true.
Not trying to put that in here.
Like I said, I spent 20 minutes on this, so I didn't put as much brain power as I should on this, but there's definitely a lot of things to consider. It's not a perfected recipe at all.
Okay, so I'm looking at your list right now, and did you miss the second? I don't know what his name is. The Exceed, the Fire Exceed.
Oh no, not really, honestly. Like in this deck, since it's not one of those Fire Fist deck that plays Dragon or multiple Gorillas.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need to search Tenki or Tencent as often as they should. So even if I had the opportunity to go into a Tiger King, I probably would only go into it once, and that would probably be with Rabbit. Like any other time, I probably would like prefer Maestro or something over it.
Okay, so the next question I have that I'm just, I guess now noticing, whenever you did slide into Fire Fist, did you feel like you ran too little monsters? Like, because I'm counting, I'm like 1, 2, like 3. That's counting tour guides.
See, that's 9, and I'm taking out like okay, so I play like 14 monsters.
And then really. The second rabbit's dead. One's a wind-up rabbit. One's a Sangan, which, you know, depending on the situation, probably isn't helping you that much.
If you compare it to Giovanni's deck, it's pretty similar. Like now I think about it, it's pretty similar in the monster count because I think he played like 17 or something, and he played like Maxis and Veilers too. So
he made that Vorse Raider though.
Right, that's true.
Which I mean.
Well, I mean, I made that wind up rabbit. Like
not comparable.
Not comparable, but yeah, I don't think I ever missed it because I played 2 Pod Duality. I played 3 Tenki. I usually just had a hand where I just draw 1 or 2 monsters and then I just like set everything. So, well, not set everything. Like I set 1 or 2 or something, but. I've never really had a time where I missed monsters. I definitely wanted stability when it comes to spell and trap cards. So I don't think I ever missed monsters because once you get a bear going, you never really run out of monsters because one direct attack from bear to the Tenki, and then that Tenki gets another bear, and like so on and so forth. So I never really missed monsters. Yeah.
Put your head up. All right. So anyway, all right. So with that, were there any matches that you played in the tournament that you felt were notable, that you got exceptionally lucky, or you got exceptionally unlucky, or something, anything like that?
I felt bad for the round top 4 person because I literally ripped a Heavy Storm with his 4 back row. And then I had a Dreamwolf and Werewolf that got over his bear. And then a Wind-Up Rabbit that attacked for game. So, and it turns out he had the deep prison too. Like, it's not like his back rows were irrelevant or anything. So, I sort of felt bad. But then, wait, should I talk about that one thing with the MST and the MPs?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Okay, well, yeah, like in the top 4, I think my opponent, I used MST in the end phase after calling Spell the Shockmaster, and
his end phase, to be clear.
Yeah, his end phase.
Okay.
And like we both at first thought it was a completely legitimate play, because I thought on Shockmaster it said end phase, but then it says until the end of the turn, and that's not end phase, I guess. So until somebody in the Watchers chat / I think Chris told me about it. I never realized it, and then he like sort of made a big fuss about it, and then like our game got delayed like 20 minutes because I don't know why I got delayed 20 minutes to be honest, but it like I think Chris and like the judges were like talking about it, but it honestly did not make a difference. I mean, the set card was torrential, and all his other cards are not changeable in any way. So I mean, it would have been the exact same thing as me just calling traps next turn, or me like just MSTing another back row, and he like complained that it like cost him $100, and I just thought that was just a big fuss over nothing. So I usually feel really guilty when I sack somebody so hard with like heavy storm and stuff like that, but that was the one time I just felt really good about winning. So yeah.
Okay. Any other times?
Let me think. No, not really. I mean, especially with Harpist is just like grind game, so there really is not many moments where I just like outright sack. It was just like me just slowly gaining advantage over and over and over again. I might pop deck like some good card like Morse Reborn or something, but other than that, like it was just a grind game. So
Okay. Well, then before we wrap up here, I just want to say, is there anything that you want to say before, or I want to ask, is there anything that you want to say before we wrap things up here?
well, I mean, I guess I want to thank Chris again because I mean for the tournament too, obviously, but for inspiring me to make this deck, I guess. I just felt like trolling because I mean I had a lot of homework to do today. Like this ended up taking 12 hours, including top 2, and I sort of had to like sleep only 3 hours to get all my homework done. But it was still a fun day. It was meant to troll, but it ended up winning. So I don't know how to respond to that, but
That's fine. Two things.
yeah.
I just thought of them right now. One is I just want to point out that anyone who's watching, this tournament took exceptionally long because for a variety of reasons. One, I think most people know I woke up late, so I didn't have time to take care of all the things I wanted to take care of before the tournament started. So I was also working alone for most of it. So like I was recording a feature match for an hour, and then the match would end, and then I have to go and compile all the match results and like put them into the thing, and then post the next pairings, and that took like an extra 20 minutes for no reason, etc., etc. All of these are things. Everything that happened are things that you shouldn't expect to happen in the next tournament. This one was like 12 hours long. I don't expect the next one to be any longer than like 10 hours tops. That's the first thing. The second thing I wanted to know is, to be clear, how much money did you make from this tournament?
Well, I paid $10 entry, and then I won 224, so 214.
Neat. And how quickly did you get paid after it was over?
So I come to the point where I trust Chris so much that I haven't checked my PayPal yet. I'm just assuming that he paid me. So.
Oh my God, I paid you right away. And why did I pay you, by the way?
Why did you pay me?
That's a silly question. Let me rephrase.
He brought my Dark Magician of Chaos that I really wanted, but he just insisted on just buying it back from me. So.
That's right. I gave you a Dark Magician of Chaos as a thank you for participating, but you offered to sell it back to me. You let me buy it back from you, and I paid you what I felt like it was worth. So, anyway.
Oh, also a noteworthy thing was the last tournament I won $200, and this one I won $224. That adds up to $424, and that's my birthday. So.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually really neat.
It's pretty funny. It would be even funnier if you had won on your birthday. Not saying.
Well, then I would just have good luck for like an entire year, but yeah.
That'd be freaky. Anyway, all right. So listen, thanks for doing this. I appreciate you entering these tournaments and dominating them. By the way, congratulations for being the first two-time champion in Yuki Overdose's tournaments. I didn't expect that to happen so soon. So wow, congratulations for that.
I didn't even expect like anything close to that. I mean, I went X2, right? So I was just like moping after round 6 because I think I lost on the bubble. Like it didn't turn out to be the bubble, but I lost the round 6 match. I was just moping. I was like, I wasted like 8 hours of my day. What am I doing with my life? And then I get like 8th place and I win. I'm like, oh, okay.
All worked out for you.
Well, I mean, there's one last thing I want to say. Like, there's a lot of people who like bitch on the page. It's like I spent 12 hours of my life like sitting in front of a computer screen on a Sunday. Like, why am I doing this? It's like please, like, you do, like, 15 hours of Yu-Gi-Oh! On a regional, and you're playing, like, 10 hours in front of your fucking computer screen, like, at home, with, like, food and everything. Like, it's not something to bitch about. So, like, just want to let people know. Like, it might be frustrating on the spot, but if you really think about it, like, you didn't have to pay for gas. You didn't have to pay for, you had to pay for entry fee. That's, like, half a regional entry fee. So, that's...
Anyway, yeah, well, I appreciate that. So, anyway, again, thank you, and congratulations again.